In a way, this chapter is kind of encompassing all three together. So some of the Vedantists, some of our own philosophers, our own acharyas say this lays foundation for Jnana Yoga, like more talking about the Supreme Lord, and then what needs to be done, and then what is the descendants of Krishna, and then what needs to be done. And some of them will say still it is part of Karma Yoga because it talks more about um, karma, akarma, vikarma, and then yajna, dana, tapasya. So all those things. So in one way, that is the one. And then it talks about yoga ladder also, like from karma kanda to karma yoga to nishkama, sakama karma yoga, then nishkama karma yoga, dana yoga, and then so like that, jnana yoga. So like that, then that is also there. And some say in the end of that chapter, what Krishna says is you have to perform karma, but perform karma with spiritual knowledge. So that is where it ends. Like, when he says you have to work upon, or you have to learn that spiritual knowledge and perform karma yoga. So generally in a normal understanding, performing karma yoga just to follow through the principles laid down in the Vedas, and then as per Shastra Pramanam, perform your Swadharma without any attachment, offering it to the Lord. So that's the definition of Karma Yoga. But how do I really ensure that doing it? What are the ways and means of doing it? Is all defined in this chapter. So third chapter just mentions perform, that's all. What to perform, how to perform, how do I ensure it is getting properly understood? It is all about fourth chapter. So in one way, it is kind of a continuation of Karma Yoga. But another way of seeing it is Krishna will talk about himself. Krishna will talk about various aspects of it more from a knowledge perspective. So in one way, it is knowledge also. In another way of seeing it is also Krishna is declaring something about himself. So which means understanding Krishna leading to bhakti. So in that way also we can understand. Okay. That is why fourth chapter. Fourth chapter, most of the slokas are by heart slokas, which are nice and important. Some slokas are kind of metered slokas, like when you go as a kind of a patanam. Patanam means just reading through, reciting through the slokas is also kind of an exercise or pranayama exercise kind of a thing. So that way we can really understand. So let's get into fourth chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Nilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanyam Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadhamagyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapata Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahakana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahakana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabha Sudhe Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpataru Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay. So certain sections of this chapter we will have a group discussion, and certain sections we can just keep going. Okay. Let's get into the slokas. Can somebody read the first sloka?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Imam vivasvate yo Shri Bhagwan vacha Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivashvan manave praha manur iksvakave bravit. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Iksvaku. Should I read, Prabhuji?
The purport also.
Purport. Herein we find the history of the Bhagavad Gita traced from the remote time when it was delivered to the royal order of all planets, beginning from the sun planet. The kings of all planets are specially meant for the protection of the inhabitants, and therefore the royal order should understand the science of Bhagavad Gita in order to be able to rule the citizens and protect them from material bondage to lust. Human life is meant for cultivation of spiritual knowledge in eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the executive heads of all states and all planets are obliged to impart this lesson to the citizens of by education, culture, and devotion. In other words, the executive heads of all states are intended to spread the science of Krishna consciousness so that the people may take advantage of this great science and pursue a successful path utilizing the opportunity of the human forms of life.
Okay,
In
madam.
this millennium, Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Um, there are a few things that is mentioned here. When was Bhagavad Gita spoken? This is all more of science. Okay. How do we really differentiate between normal arts and science? Typically, when you say science, what is it?
Practical.
Practical. Okay. Then
Facts and figures.
facts and figures. Yes. So science is more of some kind of an fact and figures, that whatever you perceive, whatever you experiment, and because based on the experiment, you get some kind of a derivation or a result output or an inference, and then so whatever be it, you undergo certain way of performing certain actions, and you get an output, and then that is substantiated with certain results. So that is where science is being defined, and art is a different way of understanding. So in one way, Bhagavad Gita is a way where you can see is kind of a scientific way of bringing out the real facts, and also in a way where whatever you want to understand the yoga means the practice, or yoga means the relationship, yoga means connection. So how do we ensure that that is being scientifically brought up? Okay, so that is where this entire foundation of this Bhagavad Gita lies down. And then this first sloka itself very importantly defining when it was this Bhagavad Gita, or the message of the Lord was spoken, and then to whom and for what purpose. So when we say for what purpose Bhagavad Gita is spoken, what do we typically say? Purpose of Bhagavad Gita.
It was spoken for mankind.
Correct. Okay. Very good. Spoken for mankind. Next step. Next one.
To remove the distress. To remove
Distress. Okay.
How to lead a life,
How to lead
the
a
way of living.
way of living. Correct. Okay. So yeah. So in one sense, perfect to a man can be to be make life man more perfect, to lead a normal way of human way of life, and all the other things also. So it's kind of a giving the purpose of leading this life. How do I understand what
You want to go to the other one?
what I'm supposed to do? So all those things are being defined as the purpose and the need for purpose of Bhagavad Gita. So every sloka, every chapter in this God has got a particular purpose. Okay, so that is why sometimes Bhagavad Gita will fulfill certain people's desires, certain people's, for example, Dhyana Yoga will focus only on the Jnanis, and then Jnana Yoga will focus on the Jnanis portion. Karma Yoga will focus on all the Karmis portion. So in one way, it is trying to fulfill everybody's desire, but the ultimate desire is for the Lord that human beings somehow or the other get their knowledge, somehow or other come back to him. So that's the ultimate goal. But at certain stages, if they're not able to understand, then they undergo the process and get the knowledge. Okay, so that is why. So Imam Vishwate Yogam Proktavan Aham Aviyam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manu Ishwaka. So from the sun god Vivaswan. Okay, so from Vivaswan, it was all descended to Manu, and then from Manu, it came into Ishwaka. So Manu is like from the we are in the which Manu now? It will be there in the coming chapters. In this particular section, it will be discussed. But what I'm saying is, we know this fundamental understanding, right? Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, and then everything together is under the Manu dynasty. Manu comes direct descendant from Brahma for all the progenium or all the procreation and creation. So from that, Swayambhu Manu, Vivaswata Manu. So we are in the Vivaswata Manu. Okay, Vivaswata Manu or Vivaswata Manu. And then from that Manu's period, the entire cycle of entire cycle of this 4 yugas will happen, and then it will get into next one. So that is how the period of Manu is kind of called as dynasty period, or like in which he will rule, and then under which we have multiple yugas coming. So that is where it came, and then from Manu, the Ishwaku. So the entire Surya. So generally the Bharata Varsha or the is not about our India perspective, but more from a Bharata Varsha perspective. Entire planet or entire universe was ruled through two dynasties. One is the Sun dynasty and the Moon dynasty. So through the Sun dynasty, we have the Ishwaku from the Sun god, and then in descendant Ishwaku was there, and then you have Raghu, and then Dasharatha, then Lord Rama, and then Lavakusha, and then so that dynasty is still kind of in continuation, right? So what is the main purpose of this sloka? Is it is not that I'm giving this Bhagavad Gita now 5,000 years ago or 5,500 years ago. Then this knowledge has been there for many millions of years. I gave it to Sun God through Brahma, and then from Sun God it has been descended to Ishwaku, and then it has been following. But in the due course of time, this science is lost, and I'm again going to come back. So I'm again giving the same knowledge only. So there's nothing changed or nothing going to be changed also. So that is where we this. And this section talks about the Manu's period. Okay, just understand this portion. It's not a very complicated way of understanding, but you can understand. So Krishna, ideally from Bhagavad Gita was spoken around 120,000 years ago, and it has been there for more than 2 million years. Okay, so it was re-spoken by Lord again to Arjuna 5,000 years ago or 5,500 ago. Okay? That is the rough estimate. So this is where we need to clearly understand. Okay. So Prabhupada is also making nicely an important one. Vedic instructions are accepted as it is, or as they are without human interpretation. So similarly, Gita must be accepted without any mundane interpretation. So mundane interpretation will lead to their own concoctinations or their own decisions, and then leading to a different way of understanding. Okay. So the next sloka we will talk about importance of disciplic succession. So how does it start? In the third chapter end, what is the last sloka? It is all about talking about spiritual knowledge. Right? So he is making this point very nicely, very important way. So evam buddhe param buddhva samshayatmanam atmanaha. Samshayatmanam means you have to get that knowledge by atmanaha, by intelligence. Evam buddhe param buddhva. So only through higher intelligence, through a deliberate spiritual intelligence and knowledge, you will be able to overcome your senses, your mind, your normal intelligence, everything. So which requires, so we saw in the last chapter, material objects, then the sense objects, then mind, intelligence, and then the Atma. So to overcome all these things, you need a spiritual strength, a spiritual power, a spiritual. So that is where this entire thing is being laid down, and then we continue. So after fifth sloka, we will have a group discussion. I'll just quickly run through the first 4 slokas, and then we can have a group discussion. Okay. 4 main points, 4 main slokas. Sloka number 4, 5, 6, 7. Lay down very importantly about Krishna. So we will just discuss that. So let's quickly finish 1, 2, 3, and then get into 4.
Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakalene hamahata yogonashta parantapa. The supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it that way. But in the course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. It is clearly stated. It is clearly stated that the Gita was especially meant for the saintly kings because they were to execute its purpose in ruling over the citizens. Certainly, Bhagavad Gita was never meant for the demonic persons who would dissipate its value for no one's benefit and would devise all types of interpretations according to personal whims. As soon as the original purpose was scattered by the motives of the unscrupulous commentators, there arose the need to re-establish the disciplic succession. 5,000 years ago, it was detected by the Lord himself that the disciplic succession was broken, and therefore he declared that the purpose of the Gita appeared to be lost. In the same way, at the present moment also, there are so many editions of the Gita, especially in English, but almost all of them are not according to authorized disciplic succession. There are innumerable interpretations rendered by different mundane scholars, but almost all of them do not accept the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna, although they make a good business on the words of Sri Krishna. This spirit is demonic because demons do not believe in God, but simply enjoy the property of the Supreme. Since there is a great need of an edition of the Gita in English, as it is received by the Parampara, disciplic succession system, an attempt is made herewith to fulfill this great want. Bhagavad Gita, accepted as it is a great boon to humanity. But if it is accepted as a treatise of philosophical speculations, it is simply a waste of time. Hare Krishna.
Very nice point. So what do you understand this line? Can somebody interpret this line? Since there's a great need of an edition of Gita in English that is received from now, an attempt is made here to fulfill this great want. Okay. What does this line indicate?
So till now, the Gita, it was commented upon by different authors, but they did not touch upon the spirit of Gita, which is devotional service and which is Krishna. So they were all giving their own interpretations and trying to make money out of Gita.
Okay. Anybody?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It is said like in the previous sloka also, it is continued here in the second sloka also. It is said that the Gita has been spoken by Krishna directly to the sun god, and the sun god to his son, and from his son to Manu, means his son Manu, and from Manu his son Ikshvasu. So यहाँ पे कहने का मतलब ये है कि जो भगवान ने जो भी बोला है गीता के बारे में, that has to be accepted as it is, without any interpretation. That is what the thing is here. Like it is ki parampara, and the same parampara has been followed by Prabhupada has written it, and the same it is followed by all the other acharyas and maharajas. Following the succession means one after the another in the same way, whatever is spoken as it is, without any interpretation, without any manipulation, it has been accepted as it is. This is what it means. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Sahi baat. Okay. Very nice. Okay. But I'm just trying to see what is Prabhupada's mood and mission in this. What is Prabhupada's mood?
To give the Bhagavad Gita as it is, because in between there are many translations.
So yes, yeah. So what is Prabhupada's mood?
His mood is maybe like to fulfill his guru desire.
Guru desire. Okay, nice, very good. Okay. Yes, then?
He wanted to actually pass on the knowledge straight from Krishna. Whatever Krishna has spoken, exactly the same way he wanted to deliver it to the devotees.
So Prabhupada's mood is to follow his Acharya's instruction. He wanted to give this knowledge to everybody. Okay, correct. So he's following the same disciplic succession. He wanted to give it as it is. Anything else?
I think he also
Following
wanted
the
to
Guru
spread this
Parampara.
to the.
Yeah, Parampara. Yes, Prabhu. Sudhir Prabhu.
He wanted to spread the message to the western part of the world, and that is why the attempt was made to write the Gita in English.
Okay. Ram Prabhu, you were saying something? Ram Prabhu, you were...
No, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah, all are correct. But I'm seeing it in a different perspective. Generally, whenever this shows Prabhupada's humility. Okay. So whenever an author writes, they will make it in a way like, I know everything and I'm giving this knowledge for you. I have done this. Like, if you see any kind of big author's books and all, they will bring it out. But throughout Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada maintains his humility in defining what is the knowledge that is to be given, and also his humility towards his humble submission. Right, so he's never saying this and all. He's making it as an attempt to hear me. So he's not even saying I've done this or we are doing this for everything. No. So we are not declaring nothing. So our acharyas also say throughout Bhagavad Gita, one thing that we can see when we see from the mood and mission of Prabhupada, mission we can clearly understand. He wants to take it to the West. He wants to give it to everybody. He wants to ensure that everybody comes to Krishna. That is all mission point. But what is the real mood is very important. So an acharya's mood can be understood through the words. right? So when you go and talk with any sannyasi or acharyas, the way they speak is one, the way they bring out the information they want to cover is also one thing. It's through the way they speak and through they write also, right? So Prabhupada's mood is very, very with so much of humble submission. Even in the introduction, this is all. If you go through the introduction, then you will be very much clear where Prabhupada will mention, I'm just making an humble submission here. We are trying to make an attempt. Okay, so that is where we see knowledge. When we take up this knowledge, we take up this knowledge with so much of loyalty, with so much of loyal sincerity, and also faith, right? So that is where we see this. Okay, so I'm just thought I will bring this point. So throughout this section, we will see so many things about the knowledge part. But when you see from Prabhupada's perspective, when you see it from what he wants to give it, we can really understand so much of effort, so much of knowledge, so much information just put into this purport. Just because that all the jivatmas, anybody, even like a lower class and whomsoever, they can make an attempt to read Bhagavad Gita, they can make an attempt to come to Krishna consciousness. Okay, so that is where we see there's so much of potency involved in the purports, and his characteristics, his guna, his qualities of being very humble is also brought up. Okay, right. Let's go to the next one. See, if it is accepted as a treat for philosophical speculation, it is, so he doesn't want this Bhagavad Gita to be like kind of this we can do a darga, we can do a kind of a logical speculations, logical argumentative. This is this, that. So even in our this also, some of them will take and do a lot of analytical, a lot of way of seeing this way now. But ultimately, bottom line is bhakti. Bottom line is acceptance of Krishna. Bottom line is attempting to understand Krishna, attempting to this one, and then applying. So if that is not there, it is what Prabhupada is saying. It is just a waste of time, right? So nowadays, so many books come, so many. Say earlier days, Bhagavad Gita, we know only Gorakhpur Press, right? So in all languages, they made a very big attempt, and Prabhupada actually appreciates them. He in fact went to Gorakhpur. He stayed there for 2 weeks. He did a lot of pravachan there also. But after that, now we have everybody writing their own this one, right? So we can see the need for Bhagavad Gita is still there. Like even every year we are able to print millions of books. Every year we are able to sell the same Bhagavad Gita. There's no change in the color. I mean, even the color is changed, but the content remains the same. But still, the need for getting Bhagavad Gita is still remaining there, right? So that is where we understand the want for each of you to do preaching. The want for you to complete Bhakti Shastri, take up Bhagavad Gita to everybody is still there. Okay, everybody individually. Somebody thinks, okay, I've just finished this, but there are so many other people to do. Let me not do. No, everybody have got have their own space to do Bhagavad Gita preaching. Okay, so that is where one of the goals and attempts of Bhakti Shastri is each and every one of you in your own space, within your own circle, within your own family, if you are able to take up Bhagavad Gita and convince, make others understand the importance, then the success of Prabhupada, and then that is what we give back to Prabhupada. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Let's get into the next look. Okay. Okay. Anybody want to attempt?
Anybody reading? Hare Krishna.
I will read.
Okay,
Mataji.
okay, do it. Okay, okay, Mataji.
स एवाय मया तेभ्य योगः प्रोक्तः पुरातनः भक्तोऽसि मे सखा चेति रहस्यं हेतदुत्तमम्. That very ancient science of the relationship is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Purport. Shall I read purport, Prabhu?
Yes, yes, small purport we can read.
There are two classes of men, namely the devotee and the demon. The Lord selected Arjuna as the recipient of this great science, owing to his being a devotee of Lord. But for the demon, it is not possible to understand this great mysterious science. There are a number of editions of this great book of knowledge. Some of them have commentaries by the devotees, and some of them have commentaries by the demons. Commentation by the devotee is real, whereas that of the demon is useless. Arjuna accepts Sri Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, and any commentary on the Gita following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service to the cause of this great science. The demonic, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. Instead, they concoct something about Krishna and mislead general readers from the path of Krishna's instructions. Here, in a warning about such misleading paths, one should try to follow the disciple succession from Arjuna and thus be benefited by this great science of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mata. Very small purport. Nice. Okay, so there are two classes of men in this ancient yogaha. The word yogaha is making. Okay, so evayam maya tedhya yogaha prokta puratanaha. So it is very historical. It is not just so Krishna 5000 years itself is saying this is very old. Okay, so that we can understand. He is saying yogaha prokta puratanaha. So this yoga is different. Yogaha is different. Okay, so in Sanskrit, yoga is nothing but connection, everything. But yogaha means the science of yoga. Okay, so for example, you say any kind of a topic, but for understanding the topic, you need some kind of a knowledge. Understanding the topic, you need some kind of a kind of reference and kind of sources. That is called as the science of that particular yoga. Okay, so you need to understand. So that is it. The most importantly, what is it? Bhaktosmi sakasheti. Okay, because you are my friend, you are my bhakta. So here it is very clearly, Krishna is declaring that particular portion to Arjuna. Okay, I am giving you this knowledge, just not because just to give it for everybody. No, I am giving it to you because you are qualified. So that is why Bhagavad Gita cannot be understood and accepted by anybody and everybody. It requires some qualification. What is the main qualification? Is faith. What is the main qualification? Humility. What is the main qualification? Acceptance towards what Krishna says. So in that way, if you keep progressing, then Bhagavad Gita will reveal by itself. Krishna will help to reveal by Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yanamam Upayantite. So he will reveal the secret of Bhagavad Gita. The more and more the faith grows, the more and more our sincerity towards acceptance of Krishna will grow. Okay, so two classes of men Prabhupada is mentioning, the demons and devotees. So in the outward way, demons is more kind of professional way of earning money. So manipulation, all those things will be there, but acceptance as it is very important. Okay. Aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvatah katam yed vijaniyam tvam ado praktavaniti. So Arjuna is asking a very specific question. So so he is now in a situation where sun god Vivaswan, he is very, very senior kind of old person, but I thought you are with me. How can I understand you in the beginning and you instructed Krishna? How do I accept this? Okay. But he could not believe Krishna's words. Okay. So he is not able to really understand. Like so far, yes, he understood that Krishna, that somehow or other I have to get this knowledge, somehow or other I have to clear all my doubts, somehow or other I have to make sure. So he had this one, but this inquisitiveness and curiosity will lead more to knowledge. So Prabhupada is also making very nicely. Arjuna's compassion, Arjuna's the state of mind is all one aspect. But everywhere in between, whenever he asks a question, right? So he will ask Sita Pragya Sada Bhasha Sim Kima. So he will ask about Sita Bhasha. Then in the third chapter, he is asking about how do I know what is the most important thing that is making people perform sinful activities. So very important question. Then Kamesha Kurdesha Rajodbhava Samudbhava. So Krishna is answering that. So in every chapter, Krishna is being questioned by Arjuna. But that question is also very intelligent. Question is also thought-provoking. Question also makes one understand that, okay, what is that we need to really supposed to understand. So that is where we can understand. So this is again very in a straightforward way. He is assuming that no, okay, I thought Krishna is always with me only, and then how come Krishna can be there? So in a way, that way, okay. And then we'll see what Krishna answers to it. Okay, so since Krishna is authority accepted by all, Arjuna put this question before him in order that Krishna would describe himself without being depicted by demons. So why Bhagavad Gita in way where Krishna declaring? Because Arjuna is asking this question. Hey, you are with me. You have been born before me few years ago, and then you. But how come you are saying this? So this is one of the kind of reason or question in which Krishna starts talking about him. Okay, so that is where we need to really understand. So everywhere we'll say, even our acharyas will say, why Krishna is always kind of boasting or kind of declaring he is the everything, he is the Paramatma, he is Bhagavan, he is Supreme Brahman, he is everywhere. But what everybody will say, no, that is the fact, that is the truth, and Krishna is revealing that. That's all. Why is revealing? Because Arjuna asked. Okay. And we know that at some point of the time, this has to be brought out, this has to be known to the entire world, and then accordingly, they will be able to perform their activities accordingly. Okay, so that is the major reason. Understand? He is Sachidananda Vigraha. He is, everybody might think he is just an ordinary person, but he is beyond that ordinarity. This one. So Krishna, Arjuna wants to make that misunderstanding, the doubts, everything sorted out. Okay. So it's simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being subject to the material modes of nature. Okay. So in some will say all the questions itself was triggered by Krishna into the mind, into the intelligence of Arjuna. That is also okay. I mean, we can say yes, that is also in one way it is okay. But whatever be it, the purpose is getting understood, right? Some will say even the thought that Arjuna's mind was made through Krishna. Yes, of course it may be, that is okay, but still it is valid. Still we accept it, right? So that is where we need to understand. Okay. Yeah, Mataji, anybody can do this part.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava cha Arjuna Tanya aham vida sarvani na tvam vitah param tapa. Translation: The personality of Godhead said, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Purport: In the Brahma Samhita 533, we have information of many incarnations of the Lord. It is stated there, Advaitam Achyutam Anandim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navya Yovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau Govindam Adi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning. Although expanded into unlimited form, he is still the same original, the oldest, and the person always appearing as a fresh youth. Such eternal, blissful, all-knowing form of the Lord are usually not understood by even the best Vedic scholars, but they are always manifest to pure, unalloyed devotees. It is also stated in Brahma Samhita, Rama Dimuru Utrishkala Niyamnitishtan Nanavataram Akarod Bhuneshu Kintu Krishna Swam Samabhavat Paramaha Puman Yo Govindam Adi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is always situated in the various incarnations such as Rama, Narsimha, and many sub-incarnations as well, but who is original personality of Godhead known as Krishna and who incarnates personally also.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Very nice purport. These two slokas from Brahma Samhita, Advaita Machyutam Anadim Anantarupam sloka, and then Ramadi Mutishi Kala Niyamanitishan. These are very nice slokas, bringing very exactly, specifically Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam, Adyam Purana Purusham, Purana Purusham, Navayavanam Cha. Very nicely. Okay. The third line is also very nice. Vedeshu Durlabham, Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. Through Vedas, you will never be able to understand Durlabham, very difficult. But Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. So two contradictory things. So somebody going the Jnana Marga, somebody who's trying to understand through this way of, oh, I'll study all the Vedas of this one and try, it is very, very difficult. But how it is very easy? Adurlabham Atma Bhakta. If you become an Atma Bhakta, if you become a very nice, loving devotion service to the Supreme Lord, immediately you'll be able to realize Krishna. Okay, that is the line. And all other things are his quality. Advaitam, he is Achyutam, he is Anadim, he is Ananta Rupam, he is Adyam, he is Purana Purusham, he is always Navayavanam. See, these are all nice ways. Okay, so Prabhupada is also making it very nicely, bringing two important points. But here we'll say, Bahuni me veditani janmani tavatarjuna. So we both, in fact, Krishna is saying in kind of more in a friendly way. See, we both have vision, but majorly, what is the biggest difference? You have forgotten from one, when you move from one body to another body. For me, there is nothing called moving from one body to another body. I'm always there. I'm always eternal. I'm always remembering everything, past, present, and most importantly, future also. Okay, that is the biggest difference. So if somebody asks, how do I understand Jivatma and Paramatma, that is the thing. Paramatma, even though spread across all the Jivatmas together, Paramatma is a separate living entity. He is permanent. He can understand. He can know past, present, and future also. He will just be eternal. So similarly, Jivatma is also eternal, but that is individual. Okay, so one Jivatma, one particular body is a Jivatma, but Paramatma is the same Paramatma, just expanded into multiple bodies together. Okay. So how do you understand difference between Krishna and Arjuna? In the same way. Okay. So most importantly, we have to understand Krishna's body and self are identical. His position is always different from that of ordinary living entity. So there is nothing called Krishna's spiritual soul, Atma, his body. No, everything is eternal. Everything is same. Everything is Sachidananda. Because for us, we have a differentiation. We have a Jivatma portion. We have the body subtle portion. We are kind of gross, the gross portion. Subtle portion is different. So we have a gross and subtle together bounded or bandha. But for Krishna, his body, his actions, his birth or avatar or whatever, it is all same. There's no, everything is spiritual. Okay, so nothing called destruction, nothing called going away, nothing called transformation, nothing. Okay, so that is what the biggest. So in the next sloka, Krishna will talk very nicely about his Janma Karma Chame. So when he was born as a small boy, baby, then he grows, so all those things is nothing but his own transformational Leela and nothing like what we see from our, in our perspective of materialistic view of how a baby is born, then it grows into youth and then to old age and then, so nothing like that. Okay. Because at the age of 125 years, when this Mahabharata was happening, he was already a big grandfather. Even Arjuna was also a grandfather, nearly to become a grandfather, right? So in that way, if you see, they are all like in that particular range, but still we need to understand how do I differentiate between Krishna and other living entities. Okay. The demons cannot adjust themselves to this transcendental nature of, this is the transcendental nature of the Lord. What is the transcendental nature? He's not only Sachidanandam, he's Advaitam, he's Achyutam, he's Anadim, he's Anantarupam, he's Adyam Purana Purusham, he's Navayavanam. So everywhere. So what is the most beautiful form? Navayavanam means which is the beautiful form? What Prabhupada will always say? Which is the most beautiful form?
Shyam Sundar.
Shyam Sundar form. Okay, so that Shyam Sundar form, the Tribhanga with the flute, Tribhanga Lalitam. Okay, the Tribhanga Lalitam. That Tribhanga form in Vrindavana is the most beautiful. Okay, and there are other forms also, Parthasarathi, so many other forms are there, but still that is considered as the most beautiful. Okay, so now what we will do, this sixth sloka also I think we can skip, but I'm going to go into this sloka we can quickly run through. Ajopisan Navyaya Atma Bhutanam Ishuropisan Prakritim Swamadishtaya Sambhavami Atmamaya. Sambhavami Atmamaya. I descend, although I am unborn and transcendental body never iterates. Okay, his transcendental body never dies. He is Aja. Okay, he is Avyayam. He is Atma Bhutanam. He is Ishvara. Okay, and then I am the Lord of the living entities. I still appear every million in my own transcendental form. Okay. Adhishtaya Sambhavami Atmamaya. So he comes in his own transcendental. He doesn't need to take any kind of a different kind of a form, whatever it is required. It comes in his own original form. Okay. So that is the biggest difference. So what I will do is, from this sloka, it's okay. I think this sloka we can understand. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can divide this into our, how many of them are 12 of us, right? So three of you take each sloka and then just go through the purport, okay? Because all four are kind of together, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we will divide into 4 groups. 3 of you can take up one sloka. First group can take 6th sloka. Second group can take 7th sloka. 8th group can take 9th. Third group can take 8th sloka, and fourth group can take 9th sloka. Okay, 4 groups, 3 members. Clear? So just read through the purport and try to understand the purport and try to bring out the content. Okay, so each of you will get some 5 to 10 minutes. We will see how we can really understand. But this is very self-study way of understanding that particular subject matter of the purport. Okay. Okay, then we can come back after around 2 to 10. Then we can quickly discuss this. Okay, I'll just break the room. You can go back because this every sloka is very important. See, for example, in your school days or college days, you might have run through this Mahabharata sloka, right? Paritarana sadhunam vinashaya dushkaram dharma samsthapanarthaya, that one, and then sarvadharman paridhyajya mamekam. So sorry, not sarvadharman. Janma karma chame divyam, that sloka also, and then Paritarana sadhunam, this sloka, and then the next sloka also. Janma karma chame divyam. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. This sloka also. So whenever there is a difference. So nice purport. Okay. So my suggestion is 3 of you, when you read through one purport, generally you take up one section of the purport, understand it, just note it down, and then the other section, and then the other section, then you can come and say. Some of the Prabhupada's lines are very nice. The principles of Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Krishna for that reminder to other highly elevated persons because he was highly compared to ordinary prisoners. Okay. So this example I always give, right? 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 is in the lower class. But if you accept what the teacher says, then you will get more good understanding of mathematics. Right? If you still don't accept that, then you will never get into the other higher subjects. Okay, so let's divide this group into 4 groups. We have 12 of them. It's 150. Is it okay? So just reading time for you for each sloka. So group 1 will read 6th sloka. Group 2 will read 7th sloka. Group 3 will read 8th sloka. Group 4, room 4 will read 9th sloka. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9.
Prabhuji, you make the groups, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Tell
I'm
us.
going to make the group. So please go to the rooms, discuss, and then come back. Ram Prabhu, please. So the third, fourth slokas is all talking about supreme science received through the discipline of succession. This ancient science of relationship with the Supreme Lord is because Arjuna is a devotee and as well as his friend. Okay, and many births have passed. And although I am born, my transcendental body never disappears. I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. This is what we have seen from 6, 7, 8, 9. 4 slokas we will just see. Okay, every sloka is very important. Okay. And we will also talk about the different types of avatars that we always understand. Like Krishna is talking about different types of avatar. How do I understand the 6 types of avatar, the Purusha avatar, Guna avatar, Leela avatar, Shakti, Avisha avatar, Manvantara avatar, Sanjiva avatar. So this portion also we will see. This Janma Karma Chame Divyam is one of the favorite slokas of Srila Prabhupada. So that also we will see. So time permits, we will see how we can. Another 45 minutes. So we'll try to see 3 slokas at least today, very importantly, then we'll take it. Okay, first group. Sloka number 6, 7, 8, 9, 6.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sloka number 6.
Who is with you, Prabhu? Yourself?
Yeah, myself, Abhijit Prabhu and Sudhir Prabhu.
Okay.
So we all 3 read and we made the we made the points. I'll just tell the
So
summary.
others, please listen. So we are not going into the reading to the purport again, but whomsoever is conveying the understanding of the sloka purport, they are revealing to us. It's kind of a knowledge sharing session. So just be patient just to hear it. Okay. So this time I want others also to speak. Whomsoever has not spoken in the group, please make an attempt to speak. Okay, then only you will be able to bring out your inhibitions and you will be able to talk also. Yeah. Okay, Anuj Prabhu, you can start, but I want in the other groups, if somebody else whomsoever has not spoken, they can speak. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. So Prabhupada ji says in this shloka that although the Lord appears like an ordinary person, he remembers everything from the past, and which common man cannot remember generally. So the Lord explains his prakriti or his form, which is his nature, his swarupa, his like one's own form, and he appears in his own form, and that form doesn't change. It doesn't change, unlike unlike the change of the human body. And so the Lord appears in his in the material form, in his original eternal form, with 2 hands holding a flute, which is the Sham Sundara form which we discussed, and this form is it is uncontaminated by the material world. So Prabhupada ji says it still appears he takes birth like an ordinary living entity, but his body does not deteriorate like a material body, and he never ages beyond youth. So this is what you told, that he was a grandfather, like he was a grandfather's age almost at the at the time of battle, but he looked like a youth of 20-25 years old. So he is unborn, he is eternal form of bliss and knowledge, and he is changeless. So Prabhupada ji gives an analogy of the sun's rising, moving and setting, saying that his appearance and disappearance is like the sun's rising, moving and setting. So although sun appears to have set for us, but the sun is always there, but it's just that we can't see it. So the Lord is also there, but we can't see the Lord, ourselves. And then he says that the Vedas confirm that the Lord is unborn, yet he still appears to take birth in his multi-manifestations. Then in the Bhagavatam, it is said that the Lord appears as Narayana with 4 hands and with 6 kinds of full opulences. So his appearance and his original form, this is very important, which, like which Prabhupada ji says, that his appearance and his form is his causeless mercy, which is bestowed on us, so that we can concentrate on the Supreme Lord as he is. And we don't have to, imagine or concoct, like his form. And Maya, Atma Maya are Lord's causeless mercy. And so this is the Lord's description, and why he appears, it will be said in the next verse. Hare Krishna.
Okay, bro. Nice. Right. Okay. Anything else? Any other specific points?
No, bro.
Okay.
Nothing else from my side.
Okay. Good. Okay. So he is the Lord of all living entities. He performs wonderful superhuman activities only. So that is what main point is. And also he is unborn. Every word in the sloka is also nice. Ajam, Ajaha, Abhyayatma. Okay, without deletion. So our bodies are Vayam. We will be getting deterioration, but his body and his one it is not. It isn't. There is nothing called deterioration for him. And also what Bhutanam Ishvaro Apisan. Okay, is for all the Bhutas, for all the Jivatmas, all the living entities. Who is the Ishvara? Apisan. I am. So Pragatim Swam Adhishtaya. So even though I am there, but what is important then? I am coming out of my own Atma Maya. So that is where we can see Sambhavami Atma Maya. The same Sambhavami is also used in the coming up the other sloka also, but most importantly, it is not, he's not saying I am born, right? He's saying Sambhavami, which means he's coming, that's all. So he is always there, he's coming and going, that's all. For us, it is Janma. For him, it is the Janma is completely only the what do you say, coming and going, or descending from the higher to the lower and then going back. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. So this Bhagavatam portion also Prabhupada making Bhagavatam appears. So when Mother Devaki saw Krishna in the 400 form, the small child baby with all the Krita Kundala, and then this one, she was completely shocked. How is it possible that the boy who's born is caught with all the bliss? And then immediately she prays to that Krishna and say, please come back to normal, the materialistic way of seeing a small baby. And then immediately he changes the form. Okay? So before that also, Krishna makes that moving from Vasudeva's heart to to Devaki's heart, and then Krishna is being the descendants of Krishna is being described. Okay, so that is what we see in Bhagavatam. In Krishna book also, Prabhupada making it very clear. So Krishna goes into the mind of Nanda Maharaj, Vasudeva, and then from Vasudeva's mind he goes to the mind of Devaki, and then he's group number 2.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. So this sloka everybody should be able to.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Me and Sujata Mataji will be doing this.
Okay.
The first part I'll be presenting, and the second part Sujata Mataji will be doing it. The sloka is Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyuatnaham Adharmasya Tada Atmanam Srijami Aham. The simple meaning of the श्लोका इज कि जब भी भगवान बोलते हैं कि जब भी धर्म की हानि होती है, देयर इज अ डिक्लाइन इन द रिलीजियस एक्टिविटीज, तब मैं धरती में जन्म लेता हूँ. आई टेक बर्थ, नॉट बर्थ, अवतार लेता हूँ. भगवान नेवर टेक्स बर्थ. मैं अवतार लेता हूँ. और एंड देन आई कंटिन्यूज विद द पपोर्ट. यहाँ पे द वर्ड श्रीजामी इज बीन यूज्ड, व्हिच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. श्रीजामी एक्सप्लेन्स दैट Krishna never takes birth. He's never created. He manifests himself as it is. वो जैसे हैं वैसे ही, because he is in शाश्वत form, he never takes birth. और इसमें ये भी बता रहा है कि श्रीजामी मतलब कि भगवान always manifest himself as it is. और यहाँ पे एक चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बताया जा रहा है regarding the Brahma's one day. What is the one day of Brahma? In very short, it's very big explanation. I'll try to explain in very small. Ki Brahma lives for 100 years, and which is called Mahakalpa, and his one day, that is 12 hours, is called a kalpa, which is 4.32 billion years in duration, and thus the 100 years is 311.040 trillion years. It's a very big explanation. And what is the one day of Brahma? It will be 4.32 billion years. That is the one day of Brahma. And each kalpa is divided into 14 manvantara period, each lasting 71 yuga cycle. There's a big number, 306720000 years, like that. And how does Krishna take avatara? Is that in one day of Brahma, once only Bhagwan takes avatar. That is what the it is said कि भगवान अवतार कब लेते हैं? It's only in one day of Brahma, which is Krishna takes the avatar. That's all for this Manu one. And यहाँ पे और भी बोला गया है कि भगवान को कोई भी चीज की obligations नहीं होती है. He can take, उनको कोई rules and regulation follow नहीं करना होता है. Whenever he wants, he takes avatar. And it's not that he has to take birth only in the Indian soil. He can take birth everywhere, wherever and anywhere he wants. And whenever he takes birth, there's a mission to he has to fulfill, and then only he takes avatar in this world. And according to the Bhagavatam, it is said that all the rules and regulations, all the laws which is made by Krishna, and that is first shared by him to Brahmaji. And this is the rule, law, which has to be followed by everyone. And the most important and the very important which is said is to surrender oneself to Krishna. That is the ultimatum law or the rule. What we can say is, this is what which is specified in the Bhagavad Gita. Just to surrender unto him and nothing else. This is what the important thing it is mentioned here. And one more thing is there ki in one part of the in Yuga, sometimes this animal sacrifice was given very importance, and then Lord Buddha took avatar to remove all this, appeared to stop all this nonsense, and especially in one word I'll explain, to remove this non-violence. That's what Lord Buddha, it was also said that it is an incarnation of the Lord. And one thing is that to accept Krishna's as an avatara, it should be only accepted unless it is specified in the Vedas. Otherwise, we should not accept any avatara, whatever is said by anybody, until and until it is specified in the scriptures. And the most important is why Krishna takes avatara. That is very important to fulfill a mission. According to Bhagavad Gita, it is said like Krishna takes avatar only to protect his bhaktas from the demonic attacks, from all the, like for example, Narsimha, Lord Narsimha took birth to protect Prahlad from his own father Hiranyakashyap. So this is the reason कि कोई ना कोई mission fulfill करने के लिए कृष्ण जन्म लेते हैं, and that one is to protect his bhaktas, his devotees from the demons. और जब अधर्म बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है, and at that time भगवान को अवतार लेना ही पड़ता है. That's all is for about the from the first paragraph. The second paragraph Sujata Mata will continue. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. In the second paragraph of this purport is written that Bhagavad Gita is spoken to the Arjuna, who is highly elevated person, highly knowledgeable person. So from this point that Prabhupada has mentioned that Bhagavad Gita is for ordinary person also, but it has to be, you have to be thinking very high way, and you have to accept it as it is. So you have to be a faith on Bhagavad Gita that whatever written in the scripture, you have to accept it. Another thing is that Prabhupada has given an example that as it is that in the maths there is a 2 + 2 is equal to 4. So in the whole study, we accept that in the higher level or the lower level of the mathematics, that we accept this rule that 2 + 2 is equal to 4. So the same way we have to accept that whatever written in the Bhagavad Gita, we have to accept it as it is, that it has been spoken from the Krishna, and there is a whatever words spoken from Lord, and whatever written in the Bhagavad Gita is none different than Krishna himself. And the Lord can take birth, Lord can appear in the world anywhere in the world, in any form. And this is just to complete his mission, that he wanted to spread the Krishna consciousness in the world. And he wanted to develop the dharma, so that people will not follow the adharma. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, nice. Thank you. So simple, we all know this sloka very nicely. Yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya. Whenever there is adharma religion, tadatmanam srijami aham. I am coming. Okay, that is the first point. Yada dharmasya, I think that point also Mataji covered nicely. Dharma of the Sakshat Bhagavat point, this question also. Prabhupada also making it very nicely, like when his mission is same, like to lead the people to Krishna consciousness or God consciousness on obedience to the principles of religion. What is the important thing is we have to follow the principle only. There is no other point. But so sometimes he dissents personally, sometimes he sends bona fide representative. So all the acharyas, all these the great sannyasis and the great devotees, they are also representative of the Lord. Okay, so that is why when we read, when we do this our Guru Puja, we always say Sakshad Hari Dvena Samasta Shastra. So our Acharya is Sakshad Hari Samasta Shastra. All the Shastras have accepted or are giving that direction that the Acharya is the bona fide or the is equal to Samasta Shastri King Sakshad Hari Dvena. So he's directly Krishna's way. Okay, so that is where we need to understand our Acharya's spiritual master's position also. And also sometimes they come down descendant for our own benefit. So somebody visiting us is just because of not for their own anything, but only for our own benefit. Okay, so in some disguise, this also, I think the principles also Bhagavad also is being nicely brought in. Okay, so the same in all the incarnation of the same principle. There is no change in it. Okay, so that is where we can see the whole purpose of mission is to arouse or bring back them to the bhakti or the Krishna conscious way. Good, thank you. Next slide.
The third one too,
Yes.
4.8. So to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So here Prabhupada explains about sadhu, or who is sadhu. Person who is in Krishna consciousness is called sadhu, and he doesn't need to have any other material qualification. He just need to follow the Krishna consciousness. Although he may not have the education, or he may not have external good external appearance. Secondly, a man who, although he may be studied or well educated, well dressed, he is considered as demonic, because if he is not following the duskrutam, he'll be called as duskrutam if he is not following Krishna consciousness, if he is not engaged in Krishna service. These 2 points, and then Krishna appears to protect his devotees. The example is given here from Prahlad Maharaja, who is a devotee, and his father to protect from his father, demonic father Hiranyakasipu. And also another example like to protect Devaki from Kamsa. Although the aim here, it is not to kill Kamsa, it is to protect Devaki. Thirdly, there are here Prabhupada mentions about avatara. So all the avatars descend from kingdom of God, and means what my understanding is, all the avatars will have their own spiritual kingdom. Like Narsinga, they will have a spiritual kingdom where Narsinga Dev is present. So they come from there to this material world. And when they come to this material world, they assume the name avatara. This is one more point. There are various kinds of avatars: Purusha avatara, Guna avatara, Leela avatara, Sakti Avesa avatara, Manvantara avatara. These all based on how frequently they appear and the purpose also. And in the Kali Yuga, the incarnation, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu incarnation is not mentioned in any scriptures, but in Kali Yuga he appears to spread Sankit, to give the love of Godhead to everyone. He doesn't kill the miscreants, but he delivers them by his causeless mercy. And this is my understanding.
I just want to add one more point, Prabhu. The Krishna avatar is purpose to satisfy his unalloyed devotees.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay.
Prabhu, maybe we can, you are going to talk more about the avatars, right, Prabhu, later on?
Yes. I'm
Yeah, okay, because we were not sure what avatara is what, so. want to know. Yeah.
We'll quickly talk about the avatars now. So mainly, how do we understand? Yes, as Balaji Prabhu mentioned, there might be some purpose behind it, and then based on the you go also. The first and foremost thing is some avatars may be in both in for example Leela avatar. For example, we have Matsya, we have Hayagriva, we have Hamsa, Narayana. So they might be for in other avatars also. It's not that one avatar in Leela may not be input. No, nothing like that. Okay, there might be some back and forth also, but primarily classified into this 6 categories. Okay, so that is first point. Second point is some of them may be directly understood as Lord's avatar, as kind of avatar from an avatari to that avatar portion. Some of them just for the sake of a particular purpose, they will take a totally different. For example, Narada Rishi, right? So everybody will think Narada is the son of Brahma, and then he comes and then he spreads the holy name. He doesn't. But in one sense, he gets the Lord's blessings through Bhagavatam. We can understand that. In another way of understanding is that is also empowered through the Supreme Lord. Okay, so in a way where if the Lord's empowerment is much more higher onto that particular on that particular avatar, then he'll take a different one. Some he will be himself, right? So for example, Narsimha, Vamana, Parasurama, there are so many avatars. It means he himself is directly descending, he is doing it. Another way of seeing it is he gives the total Shakti, total energy of his empowerment to that particular avatar, so that they will perform that particular activity. So in that way also we can see. For example, when we go by Brahma, Prithu, Vyas, so many others are also there. They are also considered as kind of plenary expansion, portions of the plenary portion. So in a way, it is all kind of his what do you say, Shakti that is coming out. That is first line. Okay. Second is all of the other avatars we can easily understand. Okay. Like for example, Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva, and all this, those are also kind of one way his energy manifested out separately, taking another kind of a form, and they're performing some kind of a particular activity. So in that way also we can understand. But generally, people will say Dashavatar or this way, but in other way of philosophical understanding, we have various types of other avatars also, which we can like in Bhagavatam and other scriptures also, we are getting it very clearly. Okay, in 10th chapter, Krishna will himself say, I am this, I am that, which means he is empowering that particular thing to get going. So in a way, that empowerment portion is the Shakti Avashara portion. Others, he will come and do it on his own. Okay, for example, Purusha Avatar. So mainly, we need to understand this. When we go to 7th chapter, 8th chapter, we will very detailedly understand this, the Vishnu form. So mostly everybody will say Mahavishnu, right? So the Mahavishnu is the Shirodaksha Vishnu. And what is the difference between Karanodaksha Vishnu and Garbhodaksha Vishnu is also very important. And how do I understand the other Vishnu forms? Like for example, in Bhagavatam, first Krishna and his first immediate expansion is Balaram. And then you have Pradyumna, Anuruddha, Purushottam, like that it will continue, right? So in a way, that is all in one way of seeing his expansion. And from that expansion, again, plenary expansions will continue. Okay, that is one way of understanding. The other way of understanding is through these various personalities that is getting mentioned in the Shastras. And that way also we can say. For example, Varaha Avatar. We have two types of Varaha Avatar. One is Shweta Varaha Avatar and Rakta, the red, and then the white avatar. So that also, depending upon that particular period, he will do that act and then he will do. Okay, so in that way also we can understand. Bhagavatam has got so many other Manvantara avatars. For example, Rishabhadev, Ritu Maharaj, other avatars. So that way also we can understand. So this is just to give you a kind of a glimpse on how do we understand based on this. So in general, they will say based on the yuga, right? So for example, Dwapara Yuga, predominantly we understand Krishna. In Satya Yuga, predominantly we understand Matsya, Kurma, Varaha. And then Treta Yuga time, you have Vamana. Then after that, you will have Rama Avatar. During Rama Avatar period itself, before Rama Avatar, we have Parsurama Avatar. So like that, they'll be able to understand. And Kali Yuga also, Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna comes as he's empowering certain Atmas to perform certain things. So in a way, that also is considered as kind of his expansions to perform that particular portion. What is the portion? Is to protect the his sadhu, his devotees, and to annihilate the miscreants. That's the understanding. Okay. And some avatars will happen within a fraction second. It will complete. It will do a perform of one particular thing and then go away. Some avatars will stay for a longer time. Some avatars will be permanently there in this one. So it all depends upon the purpose. So we may not really know how much duration, what is it. So he might take his own way of. So somebody will say, why this kind of a form? No, there is no answer to that. There might be some logical reasoning behind to say he took this form because of this reason. So that is all from a logical form, but there is no need to go deeper or no more in a debate condition and say, oh, he took this because of this. That is not required. So it is all Krishna's will to take a particular form. He comes, he does, and then he goes. Okay. For example, they always say, no, why Narsimha avatar? Why Narsimha avatar? Anybody knows that story? I think I told you, no. Why he takes a lion form, half lion, half human?
Because of the we know the Prahlad.
No. He would have taken half tiger and half human also, or half elephant on this one, whatever be it was. Specifically, what lion?
Because Lord Brahma has mentioned that particular book that he should be in the form, neither in the animal form or
Correct.
neither.
That's what I'm saying. Any animal, no, it can be tiger and also, no. So we may not know.
No, Prabhu, not sure. Not sure.
Lion is supposed to be the king among the animals. No?
Yeah, lion. That is one observation of seeing it. In one of the upanyasam, one of the lectures, one of the realizations, this Hiranyakashipu will be scolding this Prahlad, no? So he will keep on asking, what is the source of truth? Where does the strength you get? And then Prahlad Maharaj will reply, the same source of strength that wherever you get, I'm also getting. Like that, all will be coming, and then Hiranyakashipu will become very angry. He'll say. So what will happen is at that moment, no, the Lord will be the Lord is already present in that pillar. So he'll be just waiting in that pillar. Okay, so he is not yet decided which kind of form he has to come. So he'll be just keep on contemplating. My devotee Prahlad is getting all kind of this one. Which form should I take? And then immediately he'll be at that spur of the moment, no. This Hiranyakashipu will give one dialogue. See, if you do like this, what I will do, like how a lion will kill a small baby deer or a big deer, it will just pounce on the deer and then kill. No, like that I'm going to. So at that moment, no, Krishna, the Lord will decide. Oh, you are trying to kill my devotee, my pure super duper devotee as a lion. Okay, I will come as lion form. So in a way, that is kind of one of the ways to interpret and then observe. So immediately after that, you know the dialogue, right? So where is he? He's there in this pillar. Yeah, he's in the pillar. Immediately when he struck the pillar, that form appeared. That form manifested, and then that form came. Okay, so in a way, it comes out of the demon's mouth also in a way. Okay, so we may not know. So in a way, what Hiranyakashipu is also, in one sense, he's Krishna's devotee. He's a permanent devotee. With the other way of seeing this also, the decision making is always with the Supreme Lord. And how does it manifest? It's also again Krishna's. It is his own will. So there is no question about it. There is no doubt about it. Okay, so these are some of the nice small little pastimes. So we may not be really getting into like how do I understand. For example, Vamanatar. When Vamana came out of Aditi's womb, immediately he became a small brahmachari, like dwarf brahmachari. It's not like he didn't undergo all kind of growing from baby to this one, nothing. So he came out of Aditi's womb. Immediately, then he became a dwarf brahmana. Immediately there was a ceremony, and his Upanayana was then. Parvati Devi gave one, Brahma gave them, Kuvera will give something. Lord Shiva will give something. Everybody will have it. Immediately within that, then he will straight away start walking towards Bali Maharaj's that fire sacrifice place. So in a way, Certain avatars, we have to see that no, there is nothing called growing, then after doing something, no. So why we always relish certain avatars is because we are able to see end to end what is the purpose. Some avatars very short. For example, why we always say Rama avatar and Krishna avatar is because we are able to, as from a human perspective or a human sense perspective, we are able to relate every act of whatever Rama does from his childhood to his final departure. Similarly, Krishna also. So in a way, we are able to. But other avatar, we are not able to. But however, we need to understand, accept it as it is. That's all. Right? For example, Mohini avatar, it is just only few hours. He comes out in the she form, attracts all the daityas, performs the act, gives the nectar to the demons. That's all. Over. A few minutes, and then Lord Shiva wants to see. That's all. That's all over. So like that, every avatar will have some one kind of a purpose, and within that purpose, certain other fulfillment also happens. And one of the main thing is to give nourishment, to give that encouragement, to give that the relishment to the devotees. There is also, in a way, it is understood. Okay, so that is where we have to see how do we understand various states of avatars. Okay, some avatars are permanent in a way. For example, Karodaksha is still like in a way is like in a permanent state. Garbhodaksha Vishnu is also in a permanent state. Shirodaksha Vishnu is also in a permanent state. Some will happen, some will go, some will come, some will be there permanent. It is all his will. Okay, we cannot. For example, Prishni Garbha. Prishni Garbha is what the form seen by Dhruva Maharaj. Right, so Dhruva Maharaj will, when Narada Rishi gives that instruction, go and meditate upon the supreme Paramatma inside you. He starts meditating. So how does he meditate? He starts meditating. Oh, Krishna will, the supreme Brahman or the Paramatma will have a nice kritam, nice kundalam, Vaijayanti malam. Then he'll have four-handed form. He will have this pitambaram. He will look beautiful, a smiling face. Like that, he started contemplating. So he starts contemplation of the same thing, and the same form as Prishni Garbha will come and stand in front of Dhruva Maharaj. So at that moment also Dhruva will not open his eyes. Okay. So then slowly when Prishni Garbha tabs him, then he will open his eyes. What happens when he opens his eyes, Dhruva Maharaj, immediately the form that he was like contemplating or meditating upon himself in heart will go away. And then the same person will be standing there with Garuda. Okay, so in a way that particular thing over, and that's all. So he gives benediction, and the Dhruva performs his prayers, gives his prayers, and then benediction. That's all. So in a way, we can see this how we understand the different perspectives, different types, and different reasons also. Okay. Balaram, for example, Balaram is his immediate expansion. So when he came as Lakshmana, there was a purpose. And there are stories in which he wanted to serve him in the next avatar. So he became Balaram. So that is in one way of perspectively seeing. But the other way of seeing it is the purpose is coming. So the avatar is coming, performing the purpose and going. That's all. Okay, Nityananda Prabhu also in the same way. So like that also we have to see and then understand.
Prabhu, just want to ask about Hiranyakashipu. He was like in previous birth, he was the Dwarpal of Vishnu, right? Is one of the form of Jai Vijay. Then how come it becomes so much of demonic in nature, though he was a servitor of Lord?
So when this Sanat Kumaras gave the curse, what was the curses? They have to go to material world. But when going to material world means first thing is forgetting Krishna. So forgetting the Lord. So forgetting the Lord means automatically the demonic mentality we should have to be there. In the sense, I have to lord it over the world. I have to be the Yajaman or so, which means material. In fact, when whomsoever comes in this material world is kind of always in the mode of passion, in the mode of ignorance more. So that is where they were made to behave like or made to get into this kind of a way, and they were acting that very perfectly against the Supreme Lord, doing all kind of tapasya for Brahma and everything in a way that the purpose of fulfillment of that curse is completely done. So in Bhagavatam, that relation that is also there. In fact, immediately after the curse, Vishnu comes running and then saying, "Oh, what is this? I mean, they are my great devotees of this," and then both the sides will repent for each other. That we didn't know that they are great. They are great rishis, and we have done our mistake. So this Jaya Vijay will say, and this rishis also said, sorry, we also did a mistake that we didn't know. So both said, but Vishnu will say, it's okay, all done, I will manage it. So in managing it only, he will ask this point, like, you want to stay for 10 births as my devotee and then come back after 10 births, or within 3 births as my enemy and come back. So in a way, these two Jaya Vijay will decide they want to serve Krishna or serve Vishnu more immediately. So they decided, okay, even though we are against will, it is again Krishna's way only. It is again for the benediction, or for the sorry, not benediction, for the benefit of the entire mankind, so that this avatar can happen, and then this kind of an action will happen, give us a lesson, what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. So they take up that role, perfectly perform that role, they will go back. So as Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, they will go back. Shishupal and Dandavakra, they will do that and then they will go back. Okay.
So in a way, like here also Lord is appearing to deliver them only, right? So
Yes.
the eighth shloka is describing that sadhus, and like he will appear to protect his devotees. So it's the same, like though he is destroying them, but in a way he is protecting them, right?
Correct.
Delivering them.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So in Krishna's pastime, you see when Jarasandha comes with his entire set of armies, how many times he comes? How many times he comes?
18 times.
17. Okay, 16 times basically, 17th time, and then 18th time he comes, he just runs away. The purpose of that is what? Is not to kill Jarasandha or to make him lose or this one. Every time he comes, he is doing paritrana sadhuna, minasha. He is killing all the whomsoever is taking side of Jarasandha. Jarasandha, what he will do? He will lose. Only Jarasandha will be left. For example, in the first war or the second war, Krishna and Balarama from Mathura, he will fight. They will kill all the persons except Jarasandha. So what he will do? He will go back. Then he will, after 2-3 years, he will collect a few rajas, few kings. Then he will gather one army. Then he will come. Then again defeat. It is not one time, 2 times. Multiple times it will happen. What is the purpose? Simple purpose. So that the more and more he is doing a cleanup activity. The more and more the villains come, he wants to destroy. So sitting in one place, he does this act. In a way, Mahabharata is also that way. All the kings or the great Raja Rishis or whomsoever wanted to align towards Pandavas were there, and whomsoever against were also towards the Kauravas. So, but the purpose is to just annihilate everybody, so that the dharma is also established and giving a way of cleaning up this entire. So sometimes certain mass destructions happens. We might think, oh, this is because of this. Yes, some of the mass destruction is all because of our own group karma. Like for example, what is this? This corona is all our group karma. But sometimes great earthquakes happen, some natural calamities happen, which may not be really this one, but is again in a way we have to understand. But some of the group karma will affect the entire mankind also. Okay. Clear?
Prabhuji, one question.
Yes.
So Krishna appears every yuga after yuga, right? So yuga, and then he appears as himself after every millennium, which is 1000 yugas.
Correct.
Okay. So are there any shastric, is there anything written in the shastras about Krishna appearing in other parts of the world other than the Bharat world?
No, see, how do we understand this? Whatever shastra that we have is pertaining to our Bharata version only. If we are able to meditate, if we are able to do kind of a tapasya to go to that particular varsha and then that particular yuga and then when you go there, you will get that knowledge of this. So whatever knowledge that we are trying to gather is between this Vedas and the Upanishads, and then pertaining to this particular varsha or this particular planetary systems alone. That's all. So we don't have anything beyond our. But one thing what we are very clear from Karnodakshinashtami, when multiple universes start coming, every universe has got its own principles, own way, everything, same kind of bubble or same kind of that anda is replicated across multiple. So obviously, that inference we can assume that definitely there will be something. That is why Prabhupada say every year when we have Krishna Janmashtami, definitely in any one of that particular anda, definitely Krishna is born, and that Krishna's avatar is happening there, and then there will be leelas. So, for example, in our this one Bhumi or Earth, already 5,500 years is already over. Kali Yuga has already started, and then we are in this period. In some, there might be Krishna performing pastimes now. In some of the andas, Krishna is yet to be born. In somewhere else, something else is happening. So ours is more of Kali Yuga now rolling on. Some it may be only starting with Treta Yuga. In some it may be Sati Yuga. So in that way, we can infer that yes, it is based on this time and then that particular period. So whenever that one kalpa is getting over, and then whenever that entire pralaya annihilation is happening, everything will go back and then come. So in that way only we can.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna Babuji, one small question that as it is that like Ravana and this Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, both are directly killed by the Krishna. So what is their past that they got killed from the Lord himself, and what was the output that they got liberated or they got into birth or yeah.
So Krishna's killing is also kind of a benediction only. So why he personally does is because they are actually playing that role. For example, in Varaha Avatar Leela, very nicely when Hiranyaksha and Varaha are playing or kind of fighting actually. So in one lecture proposal, they're actually playing with each other, kind of fiercely fighting, like children fighting with each other, like fiercely fighting. So in a way, Varaha will provoke in Hiranyaksha will provoke Varaha. Hey, Vanagochara, come, let's fight. Like that he will provoke. And then Varaha also will get angry. So fighting also requires some anger, requires some kind of Raudra. So that rasa, that feeling is being reciprocated between that particular avatar and then that. So in a way, Krishna or the avatar that performs that act wants to release that avatar, purpose of the avatar, and also enjoy that. So killing also has to happen in that way so that that particular fulfillment is completely happened. So whether they get liberated, yes, definitely they'll be liberated out of that particular body. And then if they, what is the purpose? So the next purpose is after Hiranyaksha, he has to come as Kumbhakarna. So accordingly, he will go back and wait for that particular period, then again come back as Kumbhakarna. And then again, in the Treta Yuga over, Sati Yuga over, and then Dwapara Yuga is coming, he has to come back as Dandavaktra, or he has to come back Shishupala, whatever be it. Then accordingly, he will come back. But once the three purposes are over, definitely they will again go back to Vaikuntha Loka, and they'll continue to play the role as Jaya and Vijaya.
Okay, thank you, bro.
Okay, Hare Krishna. We have seen this loka. Paritranasu sadhunam vinashayata dushkudam dharma samsthapanat. Samsthapanam is very important. Sambhavan yuga. So every yuga will come. Within the one yuga also, he might come in multiple avatar. So it's not that one yuga, one avatar, no, nothing like that. Okay. Maybe one more sloka, we'll stop here. I think we'll stop here. Okay, we'll stop here. Then Wednesday we'll continue with the other two slokas and then continue. Yada yada hidharma, that also. And this also, this ye tamam prabhadyante tam. This also we will see in the next sloka. Okay, nice. Thank you, Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Pranam.
Thank you,
We
Prabhuji.
discuss
Dandavat
about
Pranam.
all the avatar like Karanadaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and Shirodaksha Vishnu. We'll discuss about that later,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Mataji. In the 7th chapter, Krishna, when he talks about his Vibhuti Yoga, what is the manifestation? How does that manifestation come? From which what is the next things that will be covered in the attaining the supreme Brahman, and the understanding of the Brahman portion comes, then we'll get into the each of them.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanu Pranam.
Dhanu Pranam.
Yeah, Mishra, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.